to this interaction. But we just want to make sure, actually, there's some more people outside. I just want to go. No, we get up. Okay, you make sure that they were waiting for us. I don't mind they miss my thing, but I don't want to miss the last interaction. So let me begin by once again welcoming you to this interaction. We have with us today Mr. Bhaskar Chakravarti. You would have heard, I don't know how many of you know his background. When I read this, it was so impressive. I said, look, I'm going to go read most of it to you all. Bhaskar Chakravarti is a Senior Associate Dean for International Business and Finance at the Fletcher School, Tufts University. I'm sure many of us are aware of that university. We have heard about that many times. He's also Executive Director of Fletcher's Institute for Business in the Global Context, which houses the Innovative Master of International Business Program and a global research think tank, the Center for Emerging Markets Enterprises. It's also known as CEME. Fletcher is the oldest exclusively graduate school for international affairs in the US, consistently ranked among the top 5 in the world. Dean Chakravarti's responsibilities are to head the first institute of its kind in the world that integrates global business with a broader context, including international affairs and geopolitics, diplomacy, human rights and security, among others in preparing globally adept leaders for the 21st century. Bhaskar also serves on the Fletcher faculty as Professor of Practice in International Business. Prior to Fletcher, he was a partner of McKinsey & Company and a distinguished scholar of MIT's Legatum Center for Development and Entrepreneurship. He also served on the faculty of the Harvard Business School and the Harvard University Center for the Environment. He was the leader of McKinsey's Innovation and Global Forces Practices and served on the firm's Knowledge Service Committee, which oversees McKinsey's 1,200-person global research network. Bhaskar has advised CEOs, boards and senior management in multiple industries in high technology, health, consumer care and clean tech for policymakers and also non-profits on innovation, growth and new business building and strategies for emerging markets. In a 20-plus year career as a consultant and educator, he has advised over 30 companies in the Fortune 500, policymakers, investors and entrepreneurs. His work has spanned multiple geographies, the Americas, EU, Asia and Africa. At Harvard, he taught innovation, entrepreneurship management and new venture formation, co-chaired an immersion program in India, and published research on innovations triggered by adversity and crisis. I can continue and keep talking about it, but I must mention one more thing, which interests us. His book, The Slow Pace of Fast Change, Bringing Innovations to Market in a Connected World, Harvard Business School Press 2003, selected as one of the best business books of the year by multiple publications, and an Amazon.com bestseller on innovation. Can we give a big hand to I won't say anything more. The rest is all will come in. I think I will be doing justice by speaking more and more about that. I think let him take on from this point onwards. Well, what we have asked him to talk more in the subject is something which is very opaque to many of us, the word of innovation. We talk about it, we do it, we try to implement it in different ways. I think Bhaskar, I request you to look at the environment here, the environment of a tier 2 city, a lot of SMEs, a lot of companies going to the next, want to go to the next levels, a lot of educational institutes. So they're all at that point. Many of us are at that point. And I've shared the example just now. But I think if you take that perspective of ecosystem in mind, you know your subject very well. And over to you.
Great. Well, thank you, Pratap. And it's a real pleasure to be here. And I'm going to stand up here because it's going to be easier for me to move the pages. And it's a real joy to come back to Chandigarh after many years. And I never think of Chandigarh as a tier 2 city. I think of it as a lovely city and as a small city. And I think small is critical because I think small is beautiful and small is huge. Small is important. There are many reasons why I like small, and in fact I'm going to spend the next 40 minutes or so talking about small. And Chandigarh is a great place to So I thank all of you for being here, and I hope that what I can do this afternoon is put a few ideas out, to all of you. And this is a large group, and I will not have a chance to understand, all of your background. So I apologize if I may be going over something that you know a lot about already. And if you do, please put up your hand and offer your ideas or insights, based on your inside knowledge of some of these issues, or maybe I'm saying something that you completely disagree with. In which case, also put up your hand. In fact, put up both your hands and challenge me. And I'm hoping that this presentation is really not a presentation, but it's more, my seating a discussion. And hopefully, we can leave with some insights that I develop, as opposed to kind of my declaiming something from the podium. My talk is about the beauty of small things, and I've spent pretty much all my professional career in innovation. Working either in academia or in high-tech research, or in consulting or in industry, and often advising very large corporations, some of the largest corporations in the world, on how to do something that they actually don't do very well, which is innovating. Large corporations are very good at doing big things. They're not very good at doing the small things. And it's really the small things that that are the innovative units that ultimately change the world. In academia, I have spent time studying entrepreneurship and working with entrepreneurs, and advising a variety of both student and affiliated entrepreneurs on starting up their businesses and connecting their ideas with technologies or with capital. And we can talk a little bit about that. I'm assuming that given this gathering, there's probably more of a brain's trust of entrepreneurship in the room than you might have in my experience. So before we get going, what I thought I would do is just flash a few pictures of smallness, and how I see the different ways in which small ideas can have a huge impact. Does anyone recognize what this is? It's actually this fridge called Chotu Guru, right? So it's on the top of this car, and this car is owned by a local microfinance agency. And Chotu Cool, as the name suggests, is a small innovation. The idea being to get refrigeration to the parts of the country that don't have access to either power or electronics that go off of power. And this, both the design and several of the features of the fridge were devised through market research that was done by some microfinance agencies, because the microfinance agencies had networks going into the tier 2, tier 3, and village communities, and they got information about what the consumers were looking for, including the color of the fridge that they would find most appealing. And it turned out that red was the most popular color. That's why you see a red fridge out there. So they used the microfinance network as a market research network. And then when the fridge was produced, they used the same network to then distribute the fridge. So what I find quite interesting about this whole project is it's a small product which was designed and then distributed based on another small product, which is the whole the microfinance agency. So one example of why I think small is huge, why small is big. Here's another image of small being big. People recognize what this is? On the left-hand side. ECG. Yeah, so it's an ECG machine. So one is an image from India, another one is from China, and so both ECG machines and ultrasound machines, as those of you who visited big hospitals know that these are giant boxes. And these are two products that were devised by GE as they tried to figure out how to get the services of those giant boxes to the smaller towns and communities where you didn't have hospitals. And the idea is very simple. You make the box small, you make it portable, and there you go. Now, the same technology is now finding its way back into GE's global product portfolio. And it is turning out to be quite transformational in the way they think about not only these products, but their entire product portfolio. So, another way in which one can think of how small is huge, and it's being completely transformative to a huge company. This is a gentleman by the name of Cameron Powell. He's an OBGYN, an obstetrician. I have a lot of difficulty saying that too many times, so I'll just say it once and no more. He used to practice in San Antonio, Texas, and this is the way he used to relate to his patients. The patient usually is a pregnant mother, and she would come in at some point late in her pregnancy, typically in some critical condition or close to delivering a child, and he would come to her bedside, have a pleasant chat with her, and leave. And then when he leaves, because he's a very busy doctor, he goes to a different hospital or goes to a different part of a hospital, and then this woman has a critical event, and if he's not by her bedside, the risks of her that critical event turning out to be a very bad outcome can be quite high, because there isn't another physician on staff. There's usually nursing staff available, and nursing staff often don't have access to the kinds of decision-making capabilities or the expertise that Dr. Powell has. So Dr. Powell left his job as a physician, and he went into, became an entrepreneur, he became an IT entrepreneur. And what you got here is the mechanism by which he now connects. Actually, he doesn't do it himself because he stopped practicing as a physician, but his colleagues now meet their patients through an iPhone. And of course, their colleagues do the rounds exactly in the same way as they used to before, but then when they are in a different part of a hospital or in a different hospital or even at home, they have access to the mother's heartbeat and other critical signs, including the fetal heartbeat and other critical signs on their iPhone. And this is through an app that was created by Dr. Powell and one of his colleagues, an app called the Airstrip OB. And in several Apple software developers conventions, it had been selected as one of the most exciting and the most profoundly impactful apps of the hundreds and thousands of apps that are available on the iPhone platform. Another way in which a very small application can have a very large impact. This is a company called SmugMug, which allows you to post photos on the Amazon web services. And Amazon, as you know, started out as an online bookseller, became an online retailer, and they realized they had an enormous amount of storage, computing, and database capacity left over, even which they couldn't use. So they decided to essentially rent out space to standalone entrepreneurs. And now what you have is the delivery of computing services, storage, computing, database, and increasingly software available to you in tiny bits. Software as a service, or computing applications as a service. Again, a way in which small bits, small units, are being transformational in terms of enabling thousands of entrepreneurs to build businesses which they couldn't have done in the past, because it would have been just too expensive for them to put out the kind of capital expenditures that you need to establish a minimal IT infrastructure. A final one. just so that you don't think that smallness has to do with new, sort of high-tech companies or companies that do things with contemporary services. Here's a company that deals with issues that are as old as some of the oldest industries we can imagine, mining gold. And for a gold miner, the gold mine of the gold of their own intellectual property is geological data. For them, geological data is like the formula for Coca-Cola. Nobody gives that up. So these guys, what they did was, this company called Gold Corp, they published their geological data on the internet, and they invited anybody in the world to tap into that data, analyze it, and help them figure